You are born in a dusty suburb where money smells like sweat and overdue bills. Your father loses his job after the crash of 1973, when oil prices spike and America learns to stand in lines. Your mother clips coupons from newspapers. You learn to count change before you learn to read. In 1980, the inauguration of Ronald Reagan plays on television. He talks about the free market. You hear something else. Every man for himself. You grow up among credit cards and empty garages. Banks hand out loans like candy and take houses back just as fast. In 1987, the crash on the New York Stock Exchange paints Monday black. You watch grown men cry over numbers for the first time. You understand early, money is not metal or paper. It is belief. If belief exists, you can sell air. If belief disappears, even gold turns into trash. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapses. An empire falls with signatures and seals. You remember, scale does not save you. You are not an heir to capital. You are an heir to shortage. You have nothing to lose except shame. You quickly understand. Shame has no market value. You enter adulthood in the early 90s. The country celebrates victory in the Cold War, and you count tips in a cheap bar. Money flows past you, to Wall Street, into new funds, into bonuses for men in expensive suits. In 1994, a bull market begins. NASDAQ grows like a weed after rain. You hear the word derivatives for the first time and don't understand it. But you see the faces. Greedy, tense, hungry. You try sales, phone, list of numbers, script. They teach you to sell not a product, but hope. If a client hesitates, you press on the fear of missing out. If a client is poor, you sell the dream of becoming rich. In 1997, the Asian financial bubble bursts. The news flickers in the background. People lose billions on the other side of the world, but in your office they call it a correction. You memorize another word, volatility. It sounds like justification. By 1999, the Dow Jones Industrial Average hits records. Internet companies grow without profit. You watch capitalization outrun reality. You learn the main thing. Numbers can be drawn. What matters is that someone believes in the next round. You are not building a pyramid yet. You are studying the structure. You lived through March 2000 inside an office with plastic partitions. The dot-com bubble bursts. NASDAQ falls nearly 80% by 2002. Phones go silent. Clients who shouted buy yesterday demand money that no longer exists. You learn a new skill, disappearing. You change companies. You change business cards. You change wording. In September 2001, the towers of the World Trade Center collapse. Markets close for several days. The country unites. The financial sector does not. A week later, trading resumes. Money does not observe mourning. You watch fear turn into opportunity. The government cuts rates. Credit becomes cheaper. People borrow again. By 2004, mortgages are handed out with barely any verification. You study MBS structures, CDOs, tranche levels. You understand the principle. If you slice and resell risk enough times, it becomes invisible. In 2007, funds at Bear Stearns begin to crack. In the summer of 2008, Lehman Brothers falls. The system wobbles but does not collapse. It is saved with injections. You draw your main conclusion. People do not learn. They forget faster than they lose money. And if the government saves the banks, who will save the investors when there is no one left to save them? You begin calculating a scheme where rescue is not included. By 2009, markets rise again. After the crash of September 15, 2008, after the fall of Lehman Brothers, money returns faster than trust. The Federal Reserve floods the system with liquidity. You understand, if the printing press runs, fear eventually evaporates. In 2010, the Dodd-Frank Act is passed. Control, oversight, reporting. On paper, order. In practice, new loopholes and entire armies of lawyers. You see how regulation complicates rules but does not change the nature of greed. You register an investment fund in Delaware. Small, unremarkable, private placement, limited circle of investors. You promise no miracles. You promise stability. 12% annually, no noise. In 2012, the S&P 500 returns to pre-crisis highs. You use charts as weapons. You show past volatility. You talk about hedging. The words sound complex. Clients nod. You hire an auditor, a small firm. The law is formally observed. You build the structure through several LLCs. Fees are transparent on paper and blurred in detail. You no longer make cold calls. Now they call you. The market believes in managed risk again. You are inside the system. All that remains is to change the direction of flows. By 2015, you no longer explain strategy. You demonstrate results. The graph is smooth, almost no drawdowns. While the market shakes, you show stability. In August 2015, China devalues the yuan. The S&P 500 drops sharply. You show plus 0.8% for the month. Clients call it risk management genius. You call it redistribution of incoming funds. New money covers old obligations. Old investors bring new ones. You limit entry. Artificial scarcity increases demand. The minimum ticket rises from 100,000 to 500,000. In 2017, Bitcoin climbs to 20,000. People discuss cryptocurrencies over dinners in Manhattan. You are publicly skeptical. You sell a conservative alternative to chaos. In December 2017, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is passed. Corporate taxes fall. Capital searches for yield again. You accept it without emotion. Assets under management pass 1 billion. Part of the funds sit in real accounts. The rest exist in reports. You buy a house in Connecticut through a trust. The fund donates to a university. Your name appears on donor lists. You achieved what you wanted, not wealth, scale of trust. Now the system runs by itself. And the bigger it gets, the quieter it becomes inside you. In 2018, the market starts twitching. The February correction, then the December drop. The S&P 500 loses nearly 20% by Christmas. Your reports show gains again. Too steady. An analyst from Boston asks questions. He writes a letter to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Dry wording, inconsistencies in volumes, strange liquidity. You learn about it unofficially through a lawyer. In spring 2019, an investigation begins. Document requests, trade details, counterparties that do not exist outside reports. You accelerate inflows, raise returns to 14%. Old investors are happy, new ones enter faster. The whole grows faster than capital. In March 2020, borders close. Pandemic. The index drops 34% in a month. The New York Stock Exchange halts trading several times. Mass withdrawal requests begin. Not panic, just in case. But your system is not built for just in case. You calculate remaining liquidity at night. For the first time, the numbers do not match even on paper. You need a miracle or a new inflow. Neither is visible. April 2020. The market still twitches, but fear turns into anger. Investors demand liquidity. You delay payments under the pretext of force majeure. On April 15th, WTI oil goes negative, minus $37 per barrel. The New York Mercantile Exchange records the impossible. You understand, the era of irrational optimism is over. In May, auditors refuse to sign the report. The small firm does not want to sync with you. You try to buy time. Restructuring, temporary freeze, internal review. In June, federal agents come to the office. Warrant, gray suits, cold faces. The case opens with the involvement of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Accounts are frozen. Banks distance themselves instantly. Your name disappears from the university website faster than a falling quote. Investors unite in a class action lawsuit. The amounts in the filings exceed actual losses. Everyone tries to recover theirs before the others. You read the indictment. Almost mechanical text. Ponzi scheme. Securities fraud. Money laundering. The system you used flips. It works just as efficiently. Only the direction of flow has changed, and you no longer control the movement. July 2021. Federal Court of the Southern District of New York. The United States District Court for the Southern District of New York delivers the sentence without pathos. The numbers sound dry. Decades in prison, hundreds of millions in restitution. You stand and listen as the prosecutor lists pensioners, funds, family trusts. Each name like an accounting entry. No emotion, only a balance sheet total. The judge mentions the precedent of Bernard Madoff. 2009, 150 years. You understand the scale into which your name is inserted. Not a unique villain, another mechanism. In the fall, you are transferred to a federal facility. The Federal Bureau of Prisons assigns inmates without sentiment. New number, new uniform. By then, the market is already setting new highs. 2021, a bull year. The S&P 500 rises again. Investors return to risk like a habit. Your pyramid is dissected in compliance seminars. Slides, diagrams. Your face, a case study and a presentation. You no longer manage belief. You are an illustration of it. The system remains. Only the names change.